Hey everyone, I want to make this video in regards to the communism in the United States and how would that look like. Um, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it socialism, Marxism, communism. It's all the same thing. It's an ideology, right? So it's not a person. I lived in a communist country for 10 years, thank God, Romania, back in the 80s. And I've seen all these people online, pretty much kids, 19, 20, 25 years old, that they say, they want Marxism in the United States. But they have no idea what it means. Um, you can read as many books as you want. I mean, they're not reading anymore, but whatever. You know what I mean? But you're not going to find out from the books what really happens. Because the books are made to brainwash you, not to teach you. So, my experience for those 10 years, I want to share with you. Some people might say, oh, but it's only 10 years. What could he possibly learn? Well, as soon as you start reading and speaking, you pretty much start to be brainwashed by the communism ideology. It's not pretty. It's something that you don't want in a country that's been a republic, where the people, based on the Constitution, should be the ones to govern the country, right? Not the government. Because we the people, not we the government, right? So, communism is an ideology that's been implemented in communist countries, like all the Soviet bloc back in up to the 45, after the Second World War, when they split Europe. Romania ended up to be in under the Soviet Union, under the Gorbachev, and it's it's hard. Like when you are, for example, right? When you are, let's say, 5 years old, I remember I was standing in line to buy milk, and it's only a certain store that you can go and buy. You can't just go buy in any store you want. It's based on you live. Wherever you live, you have those stores that you are assigned to, and you have tickets, paper tickets, and you go, you give that ticket, and you are allowed only 5 slices of bread, um, half a gallon of milk, and 4 eggs for a family of 4. So pretty much everything is rationalized. School, you have to, you don't do school like in the United States. You go to school and you start learning different subjects. The main focus in school is to teach you about what the communism is, how to love your great leader, whoever that is. In our case, it was Ceausescu, and how everybody works for the good of the communism. There is no social classes in communism. There's only, you call it middle class or poor people or whatever, but it's the same class. The ones that are in government, they're all scared. Like you have to be a member of the party, a communist party, in order for you to be. And you have to have references of people that would vouch for you that you're a true communist and you love what you're doing, right? And when you get to that level in the government, you're still scared because they can do whatever they want. There is no protection from anything. I remember still this happened between me being, born and 10 years old. I was about 6, and we had Romanian Secret Service coming to the house, and they were looking through the in the rooms, in the closets, and obviously I was too young back then to realize what the hell's going on. But after that, I found out from my mom and dad that basically in communism, when somebody rats you out, for example, you have, I see this person, they brought, an entire army, which you're not allowed to have that much, right? And if the neighbor sees you and they call on you, the Secret Service who was over there in charge of all this, like the Nazi SS, right? Same thing. Um, there's no warrants. They can come into your house anytime they want at any given hour and search. There's no actual warrant. There's no citation. Nothing. That doesn't exist. The Communist Party itself, it's the warrant to get you to your house. And they searched. They didn't find nothing, and they left. So that's one aspect of it. You don't know people nowadays that are looking into that and they want to learn about it. I mean, you can learn as much as you want, but you're never gonna leave it. You're never gonna be part of it, and that's what they want to do in the United States right now. They want to bring it in people's lives, and that happened. That started back in the 50s or 60s, if I'm not mistaken. It's a former KGB agent that defected to the United States, and if it's well known. His name is escaping me right now, but I'll put in the link, the name and the video of this gentleman, and basically he described how the communist Marxist ideology is pushed into the United States, and it started back then. And there's time frames. You can't have communism in a year in a country that like the United States. It takes years to form, and takes years because you need years to brainwash a generation of children from when they go to kindergarten up to colleges, universities. So that's a span of 15, 20 years that you're looking at. And that started back then. It took a little bit longer, but I spoke with a lot of bodies of mine from the Army, Marine Corps, and regular citizens, and they all see it happen. They all see it happen. And that's being pushed because when you have a government that's being sold to a communist ideology for money, that's what they want to do. They want to destroy the United States, bringing the cancer into this country. I left Europe for United States because of what I heard after the revolution back in '89 when Ceausescu was pretty much killed, because that's what happened with pretty much all the communist leaders. They were all killed, and that thanks to Reagan, right? President Reagan, that basically he said Mr. Gorbachev turned down this war, so thanks to him, a lot of European countries starts to see the reality of the world, which we were basically in dark. We didn't know about it. When the government is the first enemy that you have to fight, the fight becomes very strong, because now you're fighting governmental agencies, and that's not easy. People need to be educated and taught what they're looking at, because they can be brainwashed and they can sustain a point of view through what they've been taught. But you cannot sustain a point of view when somebody brings you cases and real facts about what it really was. And like the gentleman said, the former KGB that defected to the United States, once the population is brainwashed, you can bring them facts, you can bring them proofs, they're not going to believe it until their own life is at stake. But by that time, it's too late for you to understand what you did by supporting, electing, voting, whatever, communism. You cannot have communism in the United States by bringing, let's say, the leader. First, you need to unify the population under the same belief that communism is good, it's what you need, it's what you want. And then once the population is on board with that mentality, that ideology, then you bring the leader. Now, because you guys want it, look, we brought you your leader. Now, communism is complete. And that's what they're working on. They're working on making people want it, making people believe that it's a good alternative to the Republic of the United States. And you see, you look at all the social medias and you see that pretty much everybody that supports it, when somebody else, it's bringing them facts and bringing them proofs of a different opinion, and how they wrong, and what they tell them, they get lost. They don't know how to answer. They don't know how to come up with a response, because you can only learn so much. Even if you are brainwashed, you still can learn so much, but it's artificial, because it's not something that you lived, it's not something that you went through, it's not something that you breathe. You understand? So they don't know how to come back with a response. They're only responding with what they've been taught. It's kind of like it's very thin, but if you understand what I'm saying, it'll make sense. So if I'm telling you communism is the future, and hey, people are equal, nobody's making more money than you, nobody's making less than you, food is for everybody, you will be like, oh, that's great. But if I'm telling you, yeah, food is for everybody, right? But it's only certain amount of food. You cannot have anything else that you're not allowed, right? So if you want bananas and oranges, me as a kid, first time I ate bananas and oranges was when I was like 15 years old. Because during the communism, there wasn't such a thing. Chocolates, there was only like one type of chocolate, that was the one made, locally. So it's not like you have choices. You have no choices. Whatever they give you, that's what you eat. Whatever they teach you, that's what you learn. Whatever they present to you, that's what you get. So people don't know that. They only been taught the the fake good part of it, but nobody goes into details explaining what is that good part consist of. Because I remember when Ceausescu was coming to my town, which was like 200 miles from Bucharest, to visit, because they have parades and all that all day. If the grass was not green, they will take paint and paint it. So that's the fake of it. That's the communism. If it's not green, paint it green. If it's not beautiful, make it beautiful. If it's not wanted, make it wanted. You understand? So it's not something that it's like it's in front of you. You can't see it because it's an ideology. You read it in books. You read it they present to you in class. You have lessons about it. You have to know the national anthem. You have to know a lot of stuff about the communism, and more than, let's say, geography, mathematics, physics, and stuff like that. Because this is how they keep you in check. You have to know more about your leader, and you have to know everything by heart because they listen to you. You get grades on that. So when you get to that level, and you lived it, let's say like 3 generations before me or 2 generations before me, because before communism in Europe, most of the countries, they had the monarchy. They had queens and kings. So it was a good life. Like a lot of people back in the day, when we had the King Michael, basically you were free to travel. People were studying abroad in Germany, France, England. Once the communism came, you were not allowed to leave the country. Every time you had a group of people leaving the country as a tourist, you would go to visit Russia, and you would go to visit Germany, the East Germany, not the West Germany, because the West Germany was under the United States and the East was under communism. And you would go to communist countries to visit. Even so, even though you were going to visit communist countries, a Secret Service agent was part of the group, and he would monitor everybody. And you would leave the country with one passport for the whole group. So if one of them escaped, they would all be punished. They would all be, in jail, basically. Even though, let's say, you had nothing to do with it, but that's how it was. Because I'm trying to give you guys like what I lived through, so it's not, you have to follow what I'm saying. It's not easy like, one A, B, C, D. It's not like that. Memories come back. Now I'm remembering something else. For example, when they built the palace in Bucharest for Ceausescu, when he got elected, all those architects and everybody that was in the position that knew secrets about that building, they were all killed, disappeared. Nobody found them. Like the main architect and everybody else that had a position that to know certain things, they were all killed. Now, I want to touch another subject. The rich people in the United States, the very rich people in the United States that think, and there are a lot of liberals, now they're not liberals anymore, like they're more communists than liberals. A true liberal was back in the 80s and 90s. Now they so far left, they forgot, where the parking lot is. Like they don't know anything. Now they're communists, pretty much. And all these rich people thinking that because they have money and because they support the ideology, they will be safe. Big mistake. You're not gonna be safe. You're not gonna be safe. Everybody that's very rich and supports the communism, let's say for example, hypothetical that the communism is the United States of America, right? All these rich people that were asking for it, when the communism comes, they all their wealth is gonna be taken away for the good of the party. Houses, money, cars, everything is gonna be taken away from them. They think that money will save them. Money will not save them. Money will be their downfall. Because in the ideology, it's more important to feed the machine of the communism than to feed the person. So you don't fight with a person. You fight with a mentality, with an ideology that's well spread in Russia, China. Like there's no freedoms. So when the government took control, even though you got money and even though you said, "Oh, I'm safe because I promoted it and it got elected, whatever, and now I'm good to go because I'm one of them." No, you're not. No, you're not. They will come after you. And I have examples. There was a lot of rich people back in Romania before Ceausescu came in, and I think it was 65. So he was in for about 20 some years. And there's no free election, by the way. Yeah, it's him until he dies, and then if he has kids, name the successor. Just like North Korea, same crap. So when you have no free election, by the way, you have no freedom, right? Because if you can't elect somebody, then you have no freedom to do anything. So that should be, pretty easy to understand. A lot of rich people in Romania back before Ceausescu was elected, they had houses, mansions, all kinds of stuff. Once Ceausescu came in, took everything from everybody, even from the churches that had money, for buildings, to create, more churches and stuff like that. Took everything. A lot of them, because they had money, they flee the country. But you understand? So you're not there anymore. That's it. You're done. And they will look for you. It's not like you fled the country and you're good to go. No, they will look for you because you are on the paper as being a citizen of that country. They will look for you anywhere you go, and they could go, like in Europe, Germany, France, England, Netherlands, but they went and looked for them. So there's no escape because there's no rules, because there's no freedom. That's what communism is. Give the people the idea that it's going to be way much better. Be as vague as possible so they don't really understand, but they like the idea. And once they like the idea, you bring that person that's going to lead them to that idea. And then you take them out one by one. Like, for example, I don't think, and I'm pretty sure that in communism, everybody that's not female and male, you're pretty much done. That's 100% secure. Like you don't exist. Because if you look at the Marxist mentality and if you're reading about it, you will see that who was gay, whatever, transgender, whatever you are, you're going to be prosecuted. You're going to be in concentration camps. There were concentration camps back in Romania back in the days. Jails for small crooks, and concentration camps for people against the ideology. And hard labor. That's what it is. So before anybody says, I love Marxism. It's a good alternative for whatever we have now. You have no idea what you're talking about. Honestly, you have no idea what you're talking about. No matter who you are, no matter what you think, once the communism takes over, and hopefully this country is not going to accept it, people will fight for their rights because they try to take everything away. The Democrats, they try to take everything away from them. um, one thing I can say for sure from my experience, we are so far in that ideology in the United States, and I pray to God that Trump is going to be reelected. But even him being reelected, the 4 years or hopefully the 8 years that he's going to lead is only going to be a small break into that ideology. But that's what they don't want. They don't want Trump. They know that the phenomena, it's hard to stop, but they don't want slowdowns. They don't want to deal with another 4 years of Trump stopping them from going down the hill. Like, you put a snowball in top of the mountain, when it reaches down, it's humongous, right? So they want to keep that momentum. They don't want to have it, stop, not even for a second, because they work so hard towards it, to sell this country to the communists. So if Trump gets elected, and I hope he does, I'm a Republican, so it's going to be very hard for him to stop it, but they're going to slow him down. And that's what they don't want. That's why they do everything they do for Trump. They want to arrest him. They want to put him in jail. They want to charge him with fake accusations. It's all the communist machine working towards that. It's not the law of the United States. Because if you don't commit any crime, you're innocent, or you are innocent until proven guilty. Trump is not guilty, but they want to make him guilty. They want to sell the idea that Trump is a criminal, so they can be incarcerated, because they don't want him to reach the elections, because they know once they reach the elections, Trump will be elected. So that's what they work for. They work, the Democrats, they work to stop him in the tracks, so they don't have to slow down the train, the communism machine, which they worked so hard since Obama in this country to bring it. And hopefully Trump gets reelected. Hopefully we're gonna help each other to stop this and spread what exactly, because I know it's a lot of people like me that came from communist countries, and they could bring their own contribution to this. So even though you have 20 years old that talk about Marxism, talk about communism and how they love it, but they have no idea what it means, people like me could actually, we're not going to change their mind, but at least they can hear the version coming from people who lived it and how it was. And if it's that what you want, then you can make a decision based on facts. Like, people told me, I'm probably gonna eat only 3 slices of bread a week. I'm gonna have only 2 eggs for the whole week. But that's what I want. Then you have an informed decision. Hey, I know the risk and I want it. Good for you. You're only gonna be a few, so it doesn't matter anyway. But at least you have an idea. But what bothers me is that they come on all kinds of social media platforms, and they say we want Marxism. But when they ask them exactly what it's that you want from the Marxism ideology, they can't give you an answer because they don't know. They haven't been that far. So if there are more people like me that lived in the United States, lived in the communism for whatever time frame, but then came to the United States, they have that experience. They have that background that they could bring more to the table so people understand what the hell is Marxism, communism. I didn't went that far into it because it was like I tried to pick like a couple of instances like school, food, secret service, going overseas if you want to do a visa, a tourist, whatever. But it's all like little examples so you have idea of each and every one, like what is it going with, you know. So if I could describe communism, Marxism, socialism, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If I could describe it uh, in a couple of words, I would say, like I said before, if the grass is not greener, paint it green, make it look nice. That's what communism is. Period. Um, I'm gonna make another video where I'm gonna go into depths of instances that I learned from my mom and how they struggled during that time because they lived. My mom lived in communism about 40 years, so and I'm gonna bring more so the idea is gonna be more clear for you guys. But for now, with the communism, it's a subject that is disgusting for me. People that have no clue, they support it. Like, and the rich think that they have money, they're gonna get away with it. It's not. Everybody's gonna be. If you're too rich, you're gonna be bring back down, you know, to wake up. And if you are poor, you're gonna stay poor. So pretty much everybody's gonna be the same. Um, Even though, let's say you are rich and you're probably gonna get a position into government or whatever, you're still gonna be scared shitless because they could come in your house anytime they want. If they feel, not even have information, if they feel that you said something that offended the communism machine, you're done. So it's about feelings, just exactly what we have right now. You tell somebody something, oh, I felt that you disrespect me, like feelings. Who gives a fuck, Whatever. So I'll make another video about that, and I'll make another video about my time in the military, U.S. Army, and law enforcement and so forth. But for now, I'll stop here. Hope you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask anything you want in regards to, communism life and what it is. So you learn it from somebody that lived it, not, books, because you're not going to read that in books. And don't forget our veterans. A lot of people died, so we can have that opportunity right now to tell the truth about the communism and what it is. Because that's why United States salutes like this and not like that. It's a big difference. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, go with it. So that's why we have the freedom, because of our veterans and everybody that died for this country. To preserve the freedom, your right to defend yourself through Second Amendment and everything that stands with the morals and principles of this country. So, until next time, see you guys around, alright? Take care.